Hi guys, I'm Lillian.
And I'm Felipe.
And we are the Postmodern family.
We are Americans living in the UK searching for Great Britain.
We make 3 new videos every week, and we encourage you to subscribe to our channel.
In this episode, we're reacting to a 1962 Tonight Show, and the episode is about how America is infiltrating British culture. Okay, so this is one that came up again in the BBC Archives Twitter feed, and it really caught my eye because a lot of our commentators frequently say, you know why this is bad in the UK? It's because America brought it over. So I haven't looked into that fairly nefarious comment, but this show seems to be have the potential to reveal some information on that. So let's have a look.
No doubt, says Williams, the invasion is benevolent, but there are few things so menacing as wholesale benevolence.
Wholesale?
In 10 years, American investment in Britain has trebled. More American money has been poured into British industry than in any other country in the world except Canada, and with it is coming the American way of life. In the main, according to Williams, American big business is concentrating on consumer industries: drugs, food, cars, electronics, kitchen equipment, cosmetics, plastics. In these, America already has a substantial and in some cases a dominant share. Also, tires, sewing machines, films, detergents, lighters, pens and corsets. One British worker in 20 has an American employer using American methods to sell his goods. Apart from pre-packaging, supermarkets, deep freezes, etc., there is the struggle to produce a standardized consumer. Behind the health club, the bowling alley, the outward and everyday signs of Americanization comes the enormous pressure of mass production. Ideally, everyone must want to buy the same thing at the same time to suit the assembly line. Therefore, according to Williams, by using modern techniques of selling and production, American big business is seeking to export to Britain not just money, but American civilization and an American way of life. At first sight, there may be nothing wrong with washing machines, soap powders, patent medicines, and so on. But, Williams says, the worry is whether we can adopt these things in such quantities without adopting the whole social and economic philosophy which lies behind them.
Drive-through banks.
So the last question at the end there was whether Great Britain could adopt the economic vitality and measures and way of life or way of doing business in the UK without adopting the culture. So that the business was the vehicle that carried the culture of America. Yeah.
It's hard to escape the culture, I think, because it's so tied to...
What is it that's
business.
Culturally endemic in importing American way of doing business, you think?
Well, if you want to make more money, then you lower your costs, so you sell things cheaper, and you produce mass quantities of these.
So what is it
items.
about mass production?
I think it makes
that
people...
that brings a culture to it?
I think culturally, you learn to value
things less,
maybe.
So it's a cheapening of your material possessions?
Maybe.
Like more of a throwaway culture?
Yeah, more of a throwaway culture. Yeah.
Rather than a keep and refurbish.
Yeah, use forever, kind of just fix it every now and then. It's that throwaway culture is definitely hasn't completely overtaken the British way. I think the UK is more stoic and preserves a lot more than the US. So.
Do you remember that feeling when we came here? Where it was like, wow, these people, they really want to keep everything. I felt like, wow, they don't just throw away. Like, if I needed a new whatever. So just go buy one, go buy another one. And instead people go to the Face Pays and to the Gumtree, or is it Gumdrop or Gumroad?
It's Gumtree.
Gumtree.
But I think that's prevalent in America as well.
The Craigslist kind of?
Yeah. But I think the main throwaway culture is like a Primark, where you buy a shirt and then you wear it.
And you throw it away.
And then you throw it away. And, yeah. And that's what I think is not as prevalent, because Walmart is huge in America. And Asda, the equivalent of Walmart here, is not as huge. It's not as like throwaway culture. They have more higher quality clothing. They sell higher quality products in the Asda. And they're also the biggest grocery store. So they've got a different market than Walmart in America.
So mass-produced things have inherent lower quality.
Yeah, I think so.
And if you have a culture that relies on mass-produced things, then it's a culture that is accustomed to cheap things.
Yeah.
And to throwing things away.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that then translates into relationships with people?
Maybe.
Like that's, I don't want to be with that. I don't want to be friends with them anymore. Throw them away. I'm going to go to another person.
Maybe that's where like the American might be more open and
to
friendly to a new person and welcoming them into the house quickly.
Because they think, if something happens, I'm just going to throw them away.
Yeah, maybe. Whereas maybe the Brits are like, just stay away for like a year until I like
feel it out.
Yeah,
and then if you come into the orbit,
then we're going to keep you. Maybe. Yeah. It'll take a lot to get rid of you. Just like at work, it takes a lot to fire someone.
Here in the UK, yeah.
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 I don't know if it's like that, though. I don't know if the application process is more rigorous here compared to America. But
I don't know. I don't think so. Not that I've seen. So, so in that way, it's not just the entertainment industry that brings the American way
culture,
of life, but it's mass production capitalism itself.
Yeah, that's right.
So is that a sort of black mark on mass production capitalism? Is it a denigrating force to the culture?
I think so, because I think nowadays we're seing more return to handmade things. A return to like
during
small
the pandemic,
businesses.
You mean?
Not just before the pandemic.
Okay.
I think people were realizing that they didn't want to support Walmarts and things
for moral reasons.
For moral reasons, because they're outsourcing to China, or there's like slave labor, low pay labor.
But I think there are the number of people who will choose to not buy X for moral reasons are very much in the minority.
That's true.
I think the majority of people are just looking to save a buck.
That's true.
Period.
Yeah.
And is that part of the American culture? Just save a buck.
Yeah, I think. It takes a lot to change the way you think about products.
But this is where I think when you have capitalism within a society that all embrace the same values, you know that when you go to that shop, if they have a cheaper item, they haven't used slave labor. If all of it, if it wasn't a global capitalism, if it was just all companies were American or all companies were British, and you were buying products that were sourced in Britain with British raw materials, British labor, etc. There's no way that anything could be made from slave labor. Then buying the cheapest one is not a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
But if it's a global economy where you're trading with nations who don't share the same values as you, it's likely to encourage exploitation and corruption.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it might not be capitalism as such. It might be globalism that is a corrupting force.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
But relative to this show, though, it's America coming into Great Britain. America was a free country. Great Britain was a free country. But you see this clash of values. People who took care of higher quality things versus people who are buying cheaper things.
But I think this commentary was saying that Britain wants to go the way of making more money, and maybe that the model to make more money is to follow the American model of mass production.
So and that brings with it
so there's the incentive to adopting it, but then be careful of the cultural impact, I guess, was his little warning. Yeah. Do you think there is?
I mean, I don't know, because the Industrial Revolution was born out in Northern England in the clothing industry, particularly the weaving industry. And I guess before those factories, clothing was more expensive. And then after those factories, clothing became cheaper. People will, I guess, maybe say it became cheaper on the backs of child labor, on the back of exploiting workers, I guess. I don't know. So there's this line of thinking that says capitalism inherently introduces the attempts to exploit.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Inherently, no, I don't think so.
I mean, some people make that argument, I think. Like the socialists make that argument.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because I hate capitalism.
But I think what has to happen is there has to be a restraining force on that society. That in a capitalistic nation, when an industry or a set of companies within an industry moves in a direction of exploitation, that the moral conscience of the nation awakens and says basically, I'm not buying that.
Well, I think what was the driving moral force for a long time in both countries was Christianity. So you wouldn't take advantage of your employees and your...
Yeah,
etc.
So once that restraining force disappeared, then it's a free-for-all.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below, and as always, leave a link to other videos that you think we should react to.
And if you liked what we did today, do leave a comment blaming America for all your problems, for why you're poor, why you're rich, why you're miserable, why you can't get good beer.
In fact, just blame everything on Trump.
Yes. Orange man bad. Please leave the comment. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.